Hello and good morning. Welcome to Tree Planting 101 with Texas Trees Foundation. My name is Tyler Wright and I am an urban and community forester with the Texas Trees Foundation. We're a 35-year nonprofit and we are glad to be helping in Rockwell with your reforestation efforts. Today we have with us Mark Bodwin as well as Taylor Gwines, and these are our other urban foresters and project managers for our company, and they're going to be assisting us with teaching you how to plant a tree properly. Now, most of the time people think that planting a tree is a three-step process. Pick the tree out, you dig the hole, and you put it in, and you don't have to worry about it again. But we've actually figured out it's probably about a 23-step process you actually have to go through to actually plant a tree in itself for it to have long-term survival. As we like to say at Texas Trees Foundation, we're not planting trees for us today, we're planting for generations to come. So we want these trees to last as long as they possibly can. So we've already been over sort of how to pick out the tree and go through those items. So now it's actually time to actually get our hands dirty, get into the soil itself, and plant the tree. So the first thing that you want to do is you want to have a hole or a tree planting pit. Now, of course, we were nice enough today to actually have it augured for us to help us out a little bit. But as you can see, it's a little bit deep. And so the number one thing about tree planting, sort of like called the 1A and 1B. 1A, green side goes up, roots go in the ground. You always have to remember that. 1B is you want to make sure that the tree is a little bit higher than the grade surrounding it. The dirt that we're going to push into this tree pit is going to settle a little bit, and some of that planting material that's inside of the container is going to settle as well. So the tree could actually settle anywhere between 1 to 3 inches over the course of its lifetime. So if you plant it at grade, then it's actually going to sink below grade. And unfortunately, roots are where oxygen is taken into the tree. And so if you put a lot of soil on top of there, a lot of mulch on top of there, you can actually suffocate the tree over its lifetime. So you always want to be just a little bit high above the grade, and you don't want to be too deep for sure. So since we had a little bit too much soil on here, I'm going to go ahead and push just a little bit in. And while I'm doing that, Taylor is over here finding the root flare. I think that's pretty good for right now. We'll check that here in a second. So, what Taylor's doing now is a very essential process that whenever you're planting balled and burlap or containerized trees, you want to find what's called the root flare. Now, the flare itself is where the trunk tissue meets the root tissue, and they actually intermingle a little bit in that area, which is why it flares out. It actually grows 1.5 times faster than the trunk of the tree. So it flares out. It's sort of like the bottom of a wine glass, so to say. But it's a very important part of the tree that you want exposed at all times. If you ever see a tree going into the ground that looks like a telephone pole, the root flare has not been exposed, and from that, rot can set in, circling roots can come around, or advantageous roots, and can actually circle and kill the tree. So you make sure you want to come in here and really find where that flare is at. It looks like Taylor's done a pretty good job here. Looks like he's found where it's starting to flare out right here, and we can sort of find what's also called the topmost root. So that's where the top root is on the top of all this root mass that we have here. So we just want to make sure to expose that area, and we'll take all of that off. So now that we sort of have our height, this is where we need to be, this is where the height of the root ball or root mass is. Now we can sort of measure that with our shovel so we can determine how deep we need to go. So we only need to be about this deep for this tree, but like I said, we need to be a little bit shallow. So that's where we'll come in here and we'll start to fill in our tree planting pit a little bit more. So I'll push some away so I know where my soil line is, and then from here try and get it to our height. Now at this point in time, if you wanted to, you could very easily add some compost to your backfill. However, you do not want to put in any type of synthetic fertilizer. Fertilizers are salts. So at this point in time, if you were to put a salt on beside that root mass or around it, it's actually going to draw the moisture out, and you could actually desiccate the root system. So we'll get a nice even base to it. It's like I still need a little bit more. A little bit more. Alright, I think that's good right now. Alright, so we're going to plant this one about 2 to 3 inches high because that root mass is going to settle, and this is really nice fluffy clay that we have in here now. So after the waters, it's going to settle as well. So Mark, if you don't mind, we're going to start the equipment. We're going to put it in the tree planting pit. Alright, so whenever you're running equipment, you always want to make sure that there is no one around you, that you have a safe work area. You want to make sure that any equipment that you're using on the tree itself, it's not going to rough the bark up or peel it away. So make sure you want to use good equipment, good straps. On smaller trees, you could definitely do this by itself. You could roll it into, after you've taken the container off, of course, you could roll it into the planting pit. But when you're dealing with bigger trees, sometimes you need equipment. Alright, so I said the number 1A and 1B as far as planting is concerned is making sure the roots are in the ground, it's in the air, and it's a little bit shallow, the hole, the tree's a little bit above grade. Is next you want to make sure to remove the container. If you're working with balled and burlap, try to remove at least the top 24 inches of the material, the burlap as well as the metal container that it's in. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do is let's go ahead and test fit this. So Mark, you want to come forward and we're going to test fit to make sure we're good on height. All right, Taylor, what do you think? So you got to think, here's our flare. It's probably about right here. So about 2.5, 3 inches. All right, so it looks like we're good on height. So if you want to go ahead and bring it back up, Mark. So after you remove the container, which is number 2 important, the number 3 most important thing is what I would call scarify the root system. And that's where you actually have to get in with your shovel and really try and break apart this root mass. You don't have to be dandy with this process either. We use hatchets, we use sawzalls, we use all types of equipment to get in as deep as we possibly can. Because with containerized trees, they may continue to circle from the 5-gallon pot to the 15 to the 30. And you can actually see some of that right here. Is that as it's being potted up from one size to the next, this is beginning to circle in itself. And this is what we don't want to see. We want to be able to pull some of this off and cut it off so that the roots will go straight out. If the roots continue to circle, then you're just putting it into another container, and they're never going to, this tree will never actually take off and thrive. Yeah. A little bit off the top here. I might have to scoop a little bit out. May have put some in. I think that's good, Taylor. We'll spread this around. All right, Mark. I think we're ready for its final resting place and final home. All right, you want to try to center it as best you can. Okay. We'll make sure it's straight up and down. Find our flare just to make sure. If there are any circling roots like we have right here, you can cut those off. with either a sharp knife or a pair of pruners. We want to make sure anything that's circling around the roots or the base of the tree at that flare, want to make sure anything is cut off from there. Looks like we're still about 2 inches above grade. We've scarified. Now it's got to make sure it's straight. So we'll take a step back, make sure it's plumb in 2 different directions. Forward just a little bit on this guy. It's good right there. Taylor, how does it look on that side? All right, here you go, a little bit to the left. All right, I'm still plumb on my side. So now, we'll fill it up about halfway with the natural soil and native soil. Fill it up about halfway or so. Then here you sort of want to tamp down a little bit, sort of get out in any of the big air pockets. That's what we're looking for here. This is sort of setting the base of the tree, setting the foundation. And if you do this correctly, you won't have to stake it, hopefully. But in wind-prone areas, you will need to stake, unfortunately. All right, how's that look, Taylor? All right, we'll go down, Mark. We'll go ahead and get you out of the way. Clear. Here you go, Taylor. It's the next tree. Now after this, what we'll do is we'll take all this other material that's here and we'll pile it into the tree planting pit, but we do not want to put soil on top of here like we have right here. You want to leave the top of the root mass and the root ball itself free of mulch as well as any extra soil. You sort of want to fill in around it. And then once we've got everything pushed back in, tamped down, we'll build a nice berm so it sort of creates a bowl effect so that water can be captured, and then we'll water the tree in. I think that's time for another video itself. So that's Tree Planting 101 with Texas Trees Foundation. Thank you so much for your attention, and have a great day.